Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has asked Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan, who will be overseeing Donald Trump's first criminal trial beginning now in less than 1 month. Bragg submitted a filing to Merchan this week asking for a limited gag order against Donald Trump before the trial even begins. Bragg doesn't want to waste any time. He doesn't want to wait for Donald Trump to start attacking witnesses and possibly even members of the jury. He doesn't want the jury to be tainted. So he says, Judge, we have seen Trump's past behavior. We know what he does. We know how he attacks the witnesses. We know how he attacks the members of the jury. Not necessarily in his trial, but he's done it in other people's trials, like Roger Stone's. I need this gag order to stop this before it even starts. Here's what they put in their filing. Defendant has a long history of making public and inflammatory remarks about the participants in various judicial proceedings against him, including jurors, witnesses, lawyers, and court staff. Those remarks, as well as the inevitable reactions they incite from defendant's followers and allies, pose a significant and imminent threat to the orderly administration of this criminal proceeding and a substantial likelihood of causing material prejudice. So specifically, this limited gag order would prevent Donald Trump from commenting on potential witnesses, prosecutors other than the district attorney, court staffers, relatives of the lawyers or staffers, or potential jurors. So Alvin Bragg's even saying, listen, I'm not even going to include myself on this. My family, sure. But he can talk all the crap he wants to about me. He can talk all the crap he wants to about you, Judge. But he can't go after the witnesses. He can't go after our families. He can't go after the jurors. He can't go after the families of the witnesses. He has to keep his mouth shut about those things and the rest of the staffers in the court. I'll take the slings and arrows. Alvin Bragg says, Judge, you could do the same if you want, but we've got to prevent this from happening. They then provided multiple pages of screenshots from Donald Trump's social media accounts where he went after judges and prosecutors and witnesses and all that stuff, including the potential witnesses against him in this New York trial, Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen. He is trying to taint their reputations before the criminal trial begins. And that does need to end. These are witnesses against him. It's already filed in court that these are witnesses against him. And we know that because Donald Trump's lawyers filed a motion this week to try to prevent Cohen and Daniels from being able to testify, which that's the entire case. So no, that's not going to be upheld. But Trump needs to have this gag order in place because he cannot be trusted. His followers cannot be trusted. Hell, they even mentioned in the court filing that the defendant, Trump, and his lawyers have already admitted that, yeah, sometimes I say things and then people go out and do horrible things to the people I say things about. They mentioned the fact that Judge Arthur Engeron had a bomb threat at his house. So Alvin Bragg's got a pretty solid case for this gag order, and it would be great to go ahead and get that out of the way before the trial begins. It could also be one of the biggest traps ever set for Donald Trump. We saw him violate the gag order in the New York fraud trial, and Engeron fined him $15,000 for doing so. But that was a civil trial. Violating a gag order in a criminal trial usually results in the defendant being held in contempt and put in lockdown. So if this gag order is approved and Trump violates it in the criminal trial, there's a strong chance he could go spend a night or two in jail, perhaps a weekend. Or if he does it more than once, he could risk being imprisoned for the duration of the trial. Those are tools at the disposal of the judge, and because it's a criminal trial, they treat this far more strict than they did in the civil trial. So, yes, we need the gag order, and Donald Trump's lawyers need to let him know that if you violate it this time, you're going to be in an orange jumpsuit for at least a night, possibly even longer.